We're out here at Lost Lake in Mason County. It's a 122-acre lake. The species you'll find in this lake are coastal cutthroat, which are resident, kokanee, rainbow trout, smallmouth bass, and largemouth bass. Water temperature is currently 72 degrees. Mike and I are targeting some of the deeper water. There are some deep pools in this lake up to 60 feet. So we're going to be trolling in and around those areas looking for those trout and those kokanee. Right now on the right side of the kayak, I am trolling a Max Kokanee Pro wedding ring in silver and pink. And I have a Brad's Flash Dodger in front of that. And on the left side of the kayak, I am trolling a Trout Tricks minnow in bubblegum with a Yakima bait fish flash in front of that. We'll keep you posted and see how we do.
I'm running a wedding ring. I'm running our wedding ring behind a Sierra Sidewinder from Catch America. We've got it on the downrigger right now. I'm running about 10 feet. We saw some fish. Some good deep holes in here. It gets down to, 40, 50 feet. So there is some cold water down there. We may end up going down and fishing that a little bit. Right now I'm just going to start prospecting a little bit, see what I can see under the surface a bit in the water column, because the water temperature is about 70 to 72 degrees on the surface.
So I'm hooked up on the right side of the kayak. I ended up going down to 200 feet behind the boat with 1 ounce of lead. We're marking fish at 40 feet. We're going to take on some rough water because we have wakeboarders out here. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Like I said, I'm 200 feet behind the boat, so it's gonna take a while to bring this one in. And that's a kokanee.
There he is. He ain't very big. We'll take him. Don't have a net cam today because I haven't adapted it to this net yet. Get him on the boat, take a look. And that is a beautiful little kokanee. Do not have an Uncle Larry spinner on this boat. I got them all in my boat fishing gear that we were out at Rife Lake. So I would have put an Uncle Larry spinner on there. I've been having real good luck with that from Catch America, and I didn't have one, so I threw a Max wedding ring on there, which is a similar spinner.
So hooked up again. We were at 41 feet on the downrigger, so this will be the second fish in just a little bit. Again, another kokanee in the south end of the lake,
which is not that deep, and I was fishing at about 18 feet on the downrigger. That's a little trout, I think. Yeah, let's see out here. Little tiny guy. Nope, that's a little bass actually, smallmouth bass.
200 with 1 ounce of lead seems to be the ticket on the right.
Fishing a new lake, of course, as you see some new terrain that you're not used to. You get to look at some bottom contours and you find some different types of fish, right? It's not uncommon to have bass or something like that hit a trolled lure, but different parts of the lake will hold different fish. Pete's up in the north end of the lake. It's 40, 50 feet deep up there. So he's fishing deeper. I was fishing about 25 feet up there when I caught that kokanee. This end of the lake is shallower and warmer, so I would expect to see bass and things like that down here. Like I said, it's the first time I've been to this lake, and there's a whole bunch of different species in here, and it's kind of exciting just to see something new, do something different. That's what we enjoy. And we'll be putting out a fishing report for Catch America on this lake for this week. This south end of the lake, I think, would be a great fishery for us and the way we fish in the shoulder seasons in the spring and in the fall, because the water temperature is going to be colder and the fish will spread out more in the lake. So you would probably find kokanee and trout up here in this end of the lake when the water's cooler. So right now I'm headed back up to the other end of the lake where we're catching our target species and see what we can do.
So we're hooked up. I was out over deeper water. I was catching kokanee. Mike was the first one to locate the rainbows, and he's trolling 15 feet deep over 20 feet of water. And so he just caught a nice rainbow, about 17 inches, he said. That's that little trout. And I switched up to this blue Fire Tiger Trigger Spoon Junior from Catch America.
That is a nice trout, actually. sir. That's what we're looking for right there. And he'll go 17 inches probably. Little Warden's flatfish. That's a good fish right there.
So that's another one on the Trigger Spoon Junior. Again, over 24.5 feet of water. So when we started, we saw a lot of marks out deep, fishing 50, 60 foot of water, marking tons of fish. Targeted that depth, hooked up 4, all kokanee. Oh, this is a nicer trout.
Fishing for a couple hours. So what we're figuring out here, that the trout are a little bit shallower. They're in shallower water and they're holding shallower, obviously. And the kokanee bite is on at about 25 to 40 feet out the main area there that's about 50 feet deep. Water's colder out there. I'm picking up trout at 15 feet in 25 feet of water or so. The last one I caught was pretty nice. So I'm running a flatfish right now. I was running that spinner earlier. My guess is that flatfish is a little more aggressive in the water and the trout are in a chasing mood. So that's kind of where we're at today out on Mason Lake, or not Mason, Lost Lake in Mason County. And we'll keep you updated.
And that's a smallmouth bass.
Little bass. As far as fishing report for species and things like that, it appears that the kokanee are in the deep part of the lake out in the main channel here, around where the water's about 50 feet deep and they can find some cold water. So trolling a spinner like an Uncle Larry's or Max Wedding Ring, something like that, out in that area from 25 to 35 feet deep is productive for kokanee. The trout are holding a little bit shallower, so they're in a little bit shallower water. So I would target water 25 to 30 feet deep and be fishing 15 to 20 feet deep on the downrigger. And they're chasing more aggressively. So flatfish, trigger spoons, and then the bass are in the shallows. I mean, they're pretty much opportunistic feeders wherever they go, but they're in the shallows and they're targeting, or they're chasing all of that stuff. So if you're interested in bass fishing, we've picked up a few on the troll, but obviously that's not the most productive way to fish bass usually. But up in the shallows, the south end of this lake is about 20 feet deep at the deepest part, and that's a good place to target the bass. Also along the edges here in the drop-offs where it drops off into lower water, that's where we're finding the bass. So that's what's going on at Lost Lake. Today is the 13th of July. Little shallows here, and I tied a Ned rig on here with it's just a plastic crawfish, and I'll be damned, that's not even a bass. But I was right up along the edge and decided to try something a little different because the boat traffic got a little stupid. Threw a plastic craw in there, just casting, and that is a hell of a nice trout. So I tied up a plastic craw on a Ned rig. It's just a little jig, right? And it's not on there very well, but it's just a plastic craw and it lays on the bottom and you just hop it along. That is a nice trout right there.
So we're finishing up for the day. Final count for me was 9. I had 4 kokanee, 3 rainbow trout, and 2 smallmouth bass. Check out our channel, make sure you subscribe, go check out Catch America. And a lot of the fish came in on a junior trigger spoon in blue fire tiger. Also caught a number of kokanee on a Max Kokanee Pro wedding ring in silver and pink.